Holy shit, we're sitting here with Cody Ko.
What's up?
Live.
How's it going?
I appreciate on time, actually early, which is very rare for a YouTuber. I deal with a lot of YouTubers.
I think I got that from my mom. I'm never late.
Never?
It stresses me out so much to be late.
Yeah, I don't get that. Sometimes we'll do interviews and I'll get a call like 20 minutes in. Do you still want me there?
Yeah.
I got that without naming the YouTuber. I'm like, yeah, I want you here.
No, put him on blast. Why not?
No. Tana Mojo. We'll put Tana on blast. But she's good. She did me a solid. She showed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I appreciate you coming here.
Yeah, no problem.
Congratulations on 2 things.
Okay.
Shorty Award for Best Podcast.
Thank you.
And getting blocked by Biebs.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very busy month.
The latter I'm not proud of.
What happened? What was that
Because
for?
I'm a Justin Bieber fan.
Who's not?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
I've always been a fan.
So what happened?
I was in the car with my girlfriend, and someone mentioned like, hey, have you seen like Justin Bieber's story recently or something like that? And I was just like in my head, I'm like, I haven't seen one of his stories in like a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I tried to search his name. I couldn't search it. Like it like doesn't come up.
On Instagram?
When you get blocked, you like cannot see that. But like if someone like tags them in a picture, and I click the picture, the tag won't come up. So I'm like, so I go on his wife's page, and I'm clicking all the pictures. I'm like, is his wife just not tagging him in all these pictures? That's so cold. And then I realized, no, he's got me blocked. So
you have no idea. He could have blocked you a year ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was like, I don't know, 5 months ago or something like that. Not that I'm counting.
I was like watching a lot of your videos too, and that cringe stuff. Did you ever do anything on Bieber or no? No,
but like people that are like sort of
in his circle.
In his circle, I think maybe.
Oh,
maybe that's the issue. I don't know. He's also like religious, and we bagged on those 2 girl-defined girls. So maybe he saw that and was like, I don't mess with this. I don't know. Can I swear on this or no?
Of course.
Okay.
Swear away.
Yeah.
Go nuts.
I don't fudge with that. You know.
And congrats on the podcast.
Thank you.
Now, I'm interested like in the process of it. First of all, how did you and Noel hook up in the beginning?
Well, it's actually a pretty funny story. We like had spoken online a little bit just because we were both like making videos. We both knew of each other on Vine. Mm-hmm. We followed each other, and so we had like spoken a little bit. We were like, hey, we both live in LA. We should get together and make some videos, and it never happened. And then I got a job. My second job in LA. It was a software engineering job.
We'll talk about that. That's so bizarre. So strange.
Yeah.
Most YouTubers are high school dropouts.
Yeah, exactly.
You went to Duke and you were a computer engineer.
Yeah, I started doing this like way too late, basically. But my new boss, the first day of work, he like led me to my desk, and the desks were like, it was like a row of 3 and then a row of 3 attached on the opposing side, so like facing. Okay. And he was sitting at the desk like opposing mine.
He worked with you?
Yeah, he was on like he was like an engineer as well. He was like on the web team, yeah.
Oh.
And we were like both looked at each other like, what? Like, are you stalking me? This is so weird. And
just
so we
meant to be.
Yeah. So we ended up working together for like, over a year, but then like making videos and stuff on the side.
Okay.
And then basically I quit to do this full time, and he was still working there, and I had him on my podcast a couple times. I had started one individually.
Were you doing YouTube or were you doing Vine at the time?
No. This is after Vine shut down. So this is like, This was like I was full on doing YouTube, started a podcast, and had him on a couple times, and like it was just like a really good flow, like really good like chemistry when we were recording. It's kind of hard. Like I started interviewing people, like I'm sure as you know, like I started interviewing people, and it's like sometimes when you don't have like a good like vibe.
Do we have a good vibe?
Yeah.
Or like maybe we don't.
If you get someone who's not used to like having conversations like on camera, like recorded,
different.
right?
Yeah.
You're like trying to get like answers and stuff like that.
Yep.
And with me and him, it was just like an easy flow. And so eventually,
and that's rare.
Yeah. Super rare. And so eventually he got laid off from his job, and I was like, don't find another software job. Like let's do this podcast. There's a website called Patreon. We could start it on Patreon and try and make some money right out of the gate, so that we're not like waiting on advertisers and stuff like that. And it ended up working.
Like you had enough of a following where you can go on Patreon and people would pay to watch
Yeah, basically we were like, let's start this show on Patreon, have it be Patreon exclusive for a week, and then it comes out for free for a week.
And that was the podcast?
Yeah, that was the podcast, yeah. And I mean, it's been like a year and a half now, and we're like the 24th biggest Patreon on the site.
Wait, so a year and a half ago you had a real job?
He did. Now it's been like two 2.5 years since I
That's
quit.
not that long.
Yeah.
I think that's great advice. I just saw a good meme on, I think it was Instagram this morning, like overheard in LA, and it said like, I want to quit my job and be an influencer, and then her friend said, your soul isn't free enough and people don't like you. You know? But like the point is everyone wants to quit their job to like do this, where you were a good example of you didn't have to quit your job. Like you had a real job and you still figured out how to build your following and create at the same time.
Yeah, it was really weird because it was like, it almost was like a blessing in the beginning because I didn't give a fuck about what anyone said because I was like, I'm an engineer. Like, I'm just going to do this because I'm good at this and whatever. This isn't my... So I never worried about,
I still have a paycheck.
Yeah, I never worried about, like what people online thought of me or whatever. I was just doing this literally for fun.
Yeah.
And it was, then back in the Vine days, it was like that. And I think it, like, helped my, like,
You're freer, kind of.
Yeah. I just was like, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want. And then... Yeah, and then eventually, like, it started becoming my job, but it was like more, I feel like I established like a tone by this point, and like
you found your voice.
I found my like comedic voice a little bit, and so I think it was like a blessing in the beginning a little bit.
What'd your parents think? Did they pay for Duke? Well, let's get into Duke a little bit. So you're from Calgary, obviously a smart kid, and you were a swimmer.
Yeah.
So do you get a full ride to Duke for swimming, or was it a partial scholarship, or do your parents have to foot the bill?
Yeah, I got into Duke via like being recruited.
Okay.
And at the time, Duke didn't do scholarships for diving. It was only like this part of the swim team. So like when I decided to do like this stuff like comedy full time, like my parents were like, "You sure? Like you got yourself covered?" Because like as soon as I graduated college, I was on my own.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, like I'm gonna make substantially less money right now than I would be as a software engineer because that's like a pretty cushy job.
Yeah. So on some level, didn't your parents think you were crazy? I mean, here they go, their boy, swimmer, computer engineer. If I'm a parent, like that's a steady job, steady income, good career for him. You want to quit and become a comedian? Like, are you nuts?
It was a pretty like calculated decision. It wasn't like I'm not the type to just like quit and be an artist and be like, you know what I mean? I'm going to make sure that I have some sort of like momentum or something.
There's a plan.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like, and at this point, like I had kind of proven I could build an audience on Vine. And so it was like, I can do this again on YouTube. I just got to figure out how. And if like, it's kind of what I've just realized about like being a creative person is just like, it's like anything else. It's like you pick up something and you really, really put time into like learning how to do it. And
you put your 10,000 hours in.
Yeah, exactly. That's really the only way that you can, and it works, right? Like if you're
a swimmer, you spend 10,000 hours in the pool, you're going to be a good swimmer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You spend 10,000 hours creating content, you're going to be
And
good.
you realize, as you're doing it, you realize, this is just about like, it's like programming. It's just about like recognizing patterns and figuring out like, how to, and then you find your voice and you find your style and stuff like that. But like up to that point, like it's really just like a learning process.
Sure. So you hook up with Noel and you start doing your podcast. What was the vision at the time? Like, what was the goal? To get a ton of viewers and get advertisers, to be funny?
Yeah, I mean, like we wanted it to be like its own self-sufficient thing.
Okay.
Which we knew it could be. Like we saw other podcasts that were really successful on Patreon.
Like which ones? What did you look up to?
Man, I forget.
Who were some of the podcasts you go, they got to figure it out? I really like
honestly, the only podcast that I listen to is, like, actively is How I Built This.
Oh, okay.
It's an NPR podcast. So, like, I listen to that, I'm like, yeah, this is, like, they know what they're doing. They got, like, Amex ads and stuff like that, but it's NPR. I mean, like, of course. But there was a lot of podcasts on Patreon. I'm trying to figure out, like the Doughboys.
Okay.
For example, they were one of them that was, like, they had thousands of patrons.
Okay.
And I was, like, thinking just in my head, I was like, even if we converted 500 people, I was getting probably like, on my individual podcast, I was probably getting like 90,000 free listeners at that point, right?
Oh, wow.
So I was like, if I can convert 500 of them to be paying subscribers at $5 a month or whatever, that's like $2,500 a month already. And I was like, that could potentially pay rent for both of us. And so we were kind of like, this seems like it's something we could achieve. So maybe let's try and make this like a business right out of the gate.
Gotcha.
Where we can.
So did you form an LLC and?
I mean, I already had one, so...
But did you do one together, or was it still separate?
We just did it, actually, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was more a handshake, hey, we get it in, we're going to split whatever we make.
Yeah. It was more of like this can go through my LLC or whatever, and we
okay.
can... and we can just split everything. And so, you know, a year into it, or less than a year into it, our tickets went on sale for our first tour. It was basically like a test tour. It was a 4-show run, like on the West Coast. And
how many followers or how many listeners did you have at the time?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Like ballpark. I mean, what made you think people were going to go see us on tour? I mean, did you have a big enough following at the time?
Yeah, well, it was like at this point, like our videos together on my channel were getting like millions of views.
Oh wow.
The podcast was still growing. It was still kind of like in its early days, but
was that two different focuses? Like I got the podcast over here. Did you start doing videos together at the same time?
The videos came first. That's the first thing we did together.
I got you. Okay.
It was like basically me and him got together and we were like, let's just like make fun of stuff together, sort of thing.
Like a Tosh.0. Like that's the first thing I thought of when I saw you. Like
yeah.
That kind of same vibe. Like we'll pull
just kind of like let's have
stuff.
fun, just like talking about stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and so the very first video we did together was a video called, the very first in that style was a video called That's Gross that we did on my channel where we acted as like blowjob robot that somebody had made.
Okay.
It ended up being like a really funny video. Like I had a blast editing it.
Yeah.
Like I was laughing the whole time I was editing it, and I was like, this is a really cool style. And so eventually we just like started doing more of that style where we'd find like funny videos and kind of like bag on them together. And then it just became like a series. This like, you know, series just happened like kind of naturally.
Okay.
Where people were like, when's the next That's Cringe? And we're like, well, I mean, let's do another one. And then
now
we do
it's
another day. And then now people are like, I love That's Cringe. Same thing with the Love Island series on his channel. So yeah, that's basically how we'd vlog together, like when we worked together. So those were our first like videos that we ever made together.
Okay.
And then this style just kind of happened naturally after.
What's I mean, this may not be interesting to a lot of people, but I love comedians and I'm interested in the process.
Okay.
So when you guys first sit down, I mean, is it, you know, sitting down, smoking weed and sitting at the table with a pad of paper? Is it, we're going to sit down and we're just going to kind of wing it and we'll edit it down? Like,
so which, like, you talking about like the cringe videos and
any of them, the video or the podcast? Like, do you have a real game plan? I want to tell this story, this, we're going to focus on this video.
It's all like off the cuff, pretty much.
Everything.
Pretty much everything. Like the videos that I do individually, like I'll sort of like write them out a little bit more, but when we're like kind of going off of each other, it's all like off the cuff. And
you have to have some loose structure, right? We want to do the blowjob machine, or we want to...
Yeah. So we have like some
cringe video.
Yeah. We have like something that we know we're gonna like use as like fodder for conversation, but it's always just
Wow, so it's that natural. Like you said, when you first met him, you had an immediate kind of rapport, and it really is that simple. As I found the right guy, we're just funny together, and we watch the video, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
It sounds easy.
Yeah, no,
and then we got like, millions of views.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's like we put a lot of time into everything in between. Like, right, we put a lot of time into finding the right thing.
Okay.
Because you can't just like, I don't know, you can't just like pick a random thing. Like people will send me videos all the time and be like, hey, this is perfect for That's Cringe. And I look at it and it's got like 7 views. And I'm like, what, we're just gonna bully this random person? No, like, it's gotta be the right person where it's like they're making fun of themselves in a way, so it comes naturally.
Do you, like, I saw the violin guy was a great one.
Yeah.
So does it have to have enough views where the person's used to getting negative comments and...
Yeah, it's probably like they're like established as a like people either follow them because they don't like them or they like them or whatever, and it's just kind of like...
You don't want to pick a girl in their basement with their second video.
Yeah, no.
Make her cry.
Never do
it's
that.
Not the goal.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you pick your videos? Do you get some submitted, or do you just randomly troll the internet and...
It's honestly a mixture of both. It's a lot of just like sitting on YouTube and going down weird rabbit holes and stuff like that.
Okay. Do the That's Cringe ones, when you bag on, like I saw the Lele Pons one, do you worry about the repercussions? I mean, I know her fans are insane. So like when you know you're going to get backlash before you even post it. Is that a thought, or is it just...
I mean, we don't have...
It's just going to be fun.
We don't really have a lot of crossover with fans, so...
Okay, all right.
I don't really have to be worried about, like, mutual fans being pissed.
Yeah, but her fans are going to be pissed, so you don't care because it's not your demo?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like 8-year-old girls like me very much,
Sure.
so I'm not really worried about that.
What's your demo?
It's 18 to 24.
Okay.
60-40 male or female to male.
Oh, that's a pretty good split.
Yeah, I mean, that's what YouTube tells me, so.
Okay.
Podcast skews a little bit more male and a little bit older.
Well, that's probably
Funny
the
enough.
podcast listener,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Probably more male, older. You know, the 14-year-old girl's probably not listening.
Yeah.
Unless Laylee comes out with a podcast, then maybe she will.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. Who knows?
So you got all that going on. The tour, I read, and this is interesting to me, kind of, you said it was anxiety-inducing being on stage. Mm-hmm. Which seems weird. I kind of get it, because YouTubers, you're in front of cameras all day. You're putting yourself out there, you're judged, but it's almost kind of protected.
Yeah.
You know, and you're not getting that immediate negative feedback either.
Yeah.
You're not standing up there and they go, "You suck."
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they may say that in the comments weeks later, and you can choose to read them or choose not to.
Yeah.
What was so anxiety inducing? Was it being in front of a crowd? Was it getting hecklers? What was it that?
I mean, it's just like the most vulnerable like thing that I've done, at least, where it's like if you mess up or whatever, like you said, it's like the feedback is like immediate. Like if you say something and you get crickets, you're like, that's not a good feeling at all. Mm-hmm. And it's scary, right? Like we're on stage for 80, 90 minutes a night. It's a long time to just be sitting in front of a crowd, making sure that they're entertained.
So what do you do for 80 minutes?
We do like, it's basically like 45 minutes of stand-up, and then we'll do like 15 minutes of something you could expect from us on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And then it's a Q&A for like 15, 20 minutes, something like that.
Now, did you do stand-up before this, or this was a new?
A little bit. So like I'd been doing it for like on and off for like a couple years, but on and off as in like I'd go through like a couple months where I'm doing it regularly and then just stop.
Would you drop in like Laugh Factory or?
No, never did anything
improv
like that.
Or,
no.
So where would you do it?
Just like open mics.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems like the scariest and also the hardest thing to do in all of entertainment. You're up there naked with a mic.
Yeah.
People don't know you.
Yeah.
And you just have to make strangers laugh.
I mean, and like I wasn't like I got to give, you know, I have immense respect for the comics that are really on like the open mic grind, because it's just like it's grueling, especially here. You're driving, you know, 45 minutes between mics at these, and I'm like a morning person. I'm not I cannot stay up past 10:30.
And that's where
yeah, I mean it's all like 9, 10,
midnight.
Like that these mics go to, and it's like sometimes you never even get picked. You're sitting there for 3 hours watching other comics and you don't even get picked. And like people will do that for years before they're, and you know, they get their chops doing that. But
they may never make it.
They may never make it. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's just like, it's, you know, I feel like we kind of took a shortcut a little bit, which I feel like there's no shortcuts in this industry, but it's nice that, you know, I'm able to be up beside Noel, because like we have, you know, it's kind of like a good safety net.
Yeah.
And so it's really like a good way to like put in time on stage without feeling like 100% out of my element.
Do you ever want to do it solo? Or that's not
yeah, I would love to like do solo stuff one day, just like you know, or like at least like be on stage for like a solid like 30 minutes and just have my own set.
Yep.
Like that would be an awesome achievement.
Sure.
But I really love like performing with him. We got like I said, it's like a great, like, you know, now that we're more comfortable in front of an audience and stuff like that, it's like we can really like mess around on stage in front of people, and it's like a really, really fun thing.
And it's off the cuff, it's improv.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you kind of...
No, I mean, like we plan it. We make it seem like it's improv.
Oh, really?
Some of the stuff is improv, but it's like our show is written.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, because don't you find to make it look easy in really anything you're doing, you have to put in a lot of work to make it look easy.
Yeah.
You know, people just probably see you up there and go, they just walked in off the street.
Yeah.
Whatever popped in their head, they did. But
it's
they
like,
don't
no, we
see
rehearse and
all the stuff.
Yeah.
Going.
It's like we've done, you know, we did like 33 of the exact same show right before this one.
Yeah.
So.
But all comedians are like that. I worked at the Improv in Tempe, Arizona when I got out of college, just in the ticket booth and stuff, just like a part-time job. And it was funny. You would see all the comedians come through, and they would do Friday, 2 shows Saturday, 2 shows Sunday, like 1 show. But you would listen to them Sunday, and you would know the punchline by then.
Yeah.
It was the same thing every time.
Yeah, but you could probably see it like subtly change too, night per night.
Yeah.
Because they like tweak things and like say things different and stuff like that.
I just talked to Jason Nash about this like 2 weeks ago, and I love talking to comedians. Dave Attell's one of my favorite comedians, and I remember we were talking about this bit he did where I listened to it like 6 months ago, and then I heard it again, and he changed like the words friolator or fryer to friolator and like yellow to red.
Yeah.
And somehow that made it funnier, but he made these little tweaks in a couple words in 6 months, and they're kind of constantly honing the joke.
Yeah.
Do you do the same thing?
Yeah, we pretty much did the exact same thing. It was like figuring out how to like restructure, say things a little bit differently. Like where do you put like the, like where do you like put the inflection, like stuff like that. Like it really matters. Like that stuff will completely change the dynamic. It's crazy.
And you can only learn that by being on stage.
Pretty much, yeah.
You can't learn it in your room by yourself.
Yeah, because it's like it's the instant feedback. Mm-hmm. That's like then your brain's like, oh, this is definitely going to work now, and then you remember that.
Is that intoxicating? Because I've talked to a couple people. I talked to Emma Chamberlain about that too. Is YouTube, you don't get the payoff. You may say something funny right now, or you could say something funny right now, and you don't get the feedback till 3 weeks later when this posts, and you read a comment, oh, I really like when you said this.
Yeah.
Where stand-up, you get it immediately.
Yeah.
Isn't that more satisfying than getting the laugh on YouTube later?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a rush like nothing else, for sure. Especially like having just like a good show in general. Like we would leave just feeling ecstatic, but then when it wouldn't go well, it was like the worst feeling ever. Like we're just sitting in the green room like, oh my God, everyone hates us. That was the worst. like dude, we had this show in Nashville, our first show in Nashville, and it was like, I don't know, we just like both eaten Nashville hot chicken right before, so we're like literally like 45 minutes into the show, I'm like, I have to shit, like I'm gonna shit on stage. And so I'm like, I can't focus, I feel really shitty because I ate these donuts right before we went on stage.
Who eats hot chicken and donuts before they go on?
In Nashville, that's just what you do, I guess. And then, like, the acoustics were bad, and it was a standing show. Standing shows are tough, like, when you're doing comedy, because it's like, you really got to keep them, like, interested, because they're, like, they're first of all, they're, like, tired. Second of all, they're, like, more energetic in a way, because they're, like, standing, so they're, like, I'm part of the show. So it's like, we're dealing with that, and these things are going on, and it's just, like, it didn't feel like we were getting laughs at all, and after the show, we just, like, felt so shitty about it.
You took a shit.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Took a shit.
And then felt shitty.
And then felt very shitty. Felt better, still felt very shitty.
Do you remember?
And it was just like it was just the worst feeling. And then we came back to Nashville and did the Nashville Comedy Festival. That was our last show of the last tour. Mm-hmm. And it was our best show of ever.
Yeah.
Best show of ever. No, it was our best show we did on the whole tour, and it was just like so redeeming. Like, just felt so good.
Do you remember the bad shows more than the good shows?
No, probably the good ones more than the bad ones. Or maybe equal. Okay. Yeah.
I read an interview where you said you're right-brained and left-brained, which is, and just talking with you, obviously that's true, right? You can do the programming, computer science thing, you can do stand-up and the super creative stuff. I find it super rare. Like the comedian can't balance his checkbook, right? Or the engineer is like a robot and can't make anybody laugh. Mm-hmm. Like, do you realize how rare that is to have?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, maybe. I don't know, but like everybody I worked with, what I realize is that it's not like as separated as you'd think. Like I was explaining before, like anytime I pick up a new like creative skill or whatever, and I really put work into it, I find that it's really similar to programming. Okay. And a lot of my past coworkers that were engineers are super creative in finding different solutions and how to like solve stuff with code. They're bringing these designs to life.
Sure.
And they're doing it in their own way, and I'm like, this is exactly the same as writing music, as editing a video. It's the same. Like
you're trying to figure something out.
Yeah, you're trying to figure something out. You're trying to find a way to like land a punchline or bring your idea of a funny song to life. So I find like it's kind of they're much more interconnected than we think. Like it's not just like I'm a computer person or I'm like an artist. It's like a lot of the same. I feel like this is a lot of crossover.
It was interesting, and I forgot to talk about this before. You get out of college, and don't you start a greeting company startup?
Yes, yeah.
App or something?
Yeah. My friend and I, so after like after 2 years of working out of college, I was working for a startup in the Bay Area. He was working for Microsoft. This is a guy who started Cameo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So him and I, we were like basically bored with our jobs. And
don't you wish you started Cameo with him?
I mean, yeah, I mean, they're killing it though. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I've been around since the beginning. Like, I was like one of the first people on it. So it's like, it's a good thing that we can all, and I've like, you know, as a creator, it's great for me too.
Let me ask you this, because I see everybody on Cameo, and I always wonder, is it worth it? Like, I see, I don't know, whoever on there, and some random reality star, and they're on there for $50. You got to do a lot of cameos to make any money, and Cameo gets their cut out of it. So is it worth it?
I mean, you don't really have to do that many. Like, you think $50, you're making 75%.
Okay. So what's that? 35
Which is,
bucks? I don't know.
Is that what that is? 35?
I don't know. I just made that up.
Yeah.
You're the engineer.
Yeah,
You should
like
figure that.
Yeah, exactly. I should just know that. But I mean, like $35, you do like 100 of them, which isn't that big of a time commitment.
You just bang them out?
Yeah, 20 seconds, every 20 to 30 seconds. I
Okay.
think probably the average person does like, I don't know, 10 to 30 second cameos or something like that.
Okay.
It's really not that much time to make $3,500.
Okay. Yeah, when you break it down like that,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's like, I mean, the product's great. They're a great team and they're doing great things. And I'm just like glad I was involved from the beginning. But him and I basically at this 2-year mark, neither of us went like abroad during college just because I was on the diving team, so I couldn't do it. And so neither of us had like really traveled. And so we were like, all right, now's probably the time. We're 23, whatever. We got a little bit of money saved up from this. So let's quit and just backpack for like almost a year. And so we did that, and we were like,
Where,
while we
Europe?
were on
Did you go?
Southeast Asia in
wow,
Australia.
okay.
And so while we were doing that, we were like, we got to continue writing code and figure out, like, let's like try and start a small business. Just the two of us, since we have this time, and we might as well try and make a little bit of money on the road.
Well, how did you have money to go travel Southeast Asia? I mean, you're a broke college kid. How did you?
No, it was 2 years out, so we had saved.
Oh, you saved money from
Yeah,
engineering.
we had both saved money from engineering.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He's working at Microsoft. He was doing great.
Okay.
And I had some money, and backpacking Southeast Asia is pretty cheap.
Okay, staying in hostels and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. We were staying in hostels that are $20 a night.
Okay.
And so we basically our small business idea was to create. Basically hooked into a print service that printed greeting cards just on demand.
Okay.
And so we created this website where it was like you could send it was called Hey, and you could send someone a greeting card that said Hey on the front, and you opened it up and say fuck you. Or it would say like have a shitty birthday, or it would say like, like Snape kills Dumbledore or something like funny like that, like a spoiler. And for $5 you could send it anywhere in the world. And you would just pick, like we had a whole bunch of greetings written out that you could just pick, or you could do a custom one that was like one sentence. And you could send these gift cards out. And so we just started like promoting it a little bit on like Vine and stuff like that. And it worked. Like we sold like a bunch of them. Like people would it was hilarious. People would like film reaction videos of them getting these cards that said, hey, fuck you. And they'd be like, what is this? It was pretty funny.
You've lived a pretty incredible life. Did you, Duke swimming scholarship? You've lived like an extraordinary life if you break it down. Then you're backpacking again, around Southeast Asia. You're coming up with an app at the time. You get active in Vine and social media. You start podcasts. You do YouTube. Did you have like any guidance or any, a cool older cousin who was doing different kind of things that
both
you looked up to?
Both my parents are like that. Like they're crazy. They're like.
What do you mean?
They're just like my mom sold a software business when she was young. It was a printing business. My dad also sold a software business, and so they were both really entrepreneurial growing up. And then they both started doing triathlons. And then my dad broke the world record for the longest distance traveled in 24 hours by human power. So he engineered a bike that was like a recumbent bike and rode around on a track for 24 hours straight and broke the world record. And then my mom started doing Ironmans. My dad started doing Ironmans. He qualified, this is getting the timelines mixed up. But basically they're like super athletes. Mm-hmm. They both do ultra marathons now. My dad runs 100-mile marathons. And so does my mom. They do races in Alaska where they're pulling sleds behind them for 36 hours. They're insane. So they've done all these crazy things, and it's just kind
of rubbed off?
Yeah, I guess I was just being inspired my whole life led me to wanting to do different things and master different stuff. And
you were never going to sit and be an engineer for 30 years at one company.
I might have, but I've always had sort of an entrepreneurial streak. I hate that word.
But it's true.
entrepreneurial.
You
But
got
yeah,
an
I mean, like,
LLC, you sell product, you are an entrepreneur.
it's
All
definitely,
YouTubers
yeah, I
are.
mean, it's definitely a business too. Like, as well as, and that's like part of it is balancing like how much you're trying to focus on money, because like people see through that stuff, and it's like it feels not sincere when you do stuff when you're like, oh, that video style worked really well, or like made a bunch of money, let's do that again. It's like feels wrong, right? Like, so it's an interesting balance of like figuring out like how do I stay true to like the creative side and like really focus on things that, or like work on things that I want to work on that inspire me, and also like balance how do I keep this business growing, basically.
What's cringy on YouTube? Like you mentioned, is that one thing that every time you see you go, fuck, is it the sponsored gummy hair product on Instagram? Is it this girl just copied the other makeup guru who did this last week? I mean, what makes you cringe with big YouTubers? You know, what do they do that you just go, shit, again?
I don't like watch a lot of bigger YouTubers.
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't like, so it's like hard for me to really say what, I don't know.
Well, what makes you cringe when you're watching YouTube? Like, is there an overall thing that you go, fuck, you know? Or is it just unique to every video?
I think it's kind of unique to every video, honestly. I don't know, like obviously so much of YouTube is cliche now that it's just like when I see a vlog of someone, just like a standard vlog of someone be like, yo, what's up, guys? In the first 3 minutes is just like,
link in bio, bro.
Yeah, it's just like them talking about like, so today we're gonna go to the market and it's gonna be crazy, and by the way, guys, you gotta pick up my new hoodie because it's blah, 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 and it's like, oh, that's what it is. You know when a vlog is titled one thing that happens in the vlog, but the vlog is 30 minutes long? Yeah. And you're like, what, like, just, like, I clicked this video expecting it to be this one thing where you get a new car or something like that, right? But it's like the 30 minutes like before and after, and you're just like, this is just such an obvious cash grab.
You see him negotiating the car deal.
Breakfast.
Yeah. We're going to the car dealership today.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
See some healthy
yeah, if it's like got a new BMW, I expect it to start at the dealership, you know?
Clickbaity titles.
Yeah, exactly.
They gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like that, what do they call it? Like fake excitement.
Yeah.
You know, we're excited right now.
Yeah.
What are you excited about? Just being excited.
Yeah.
You know, people see through that, but also people have made careers out of that too.
Yeah.
Douchey vlogs.
Yeah. No, I get like, people like watching that stuff. I just don't.
Yeah. What do you like to watch on YouTube?
Like, I don't really watch a lot of stuff. I watch stuff that's similar to my style. Like,
you have some favorite YouTubers?
Yeah, like Danny and Drew and people like that. But I don't watch that much YouTube, honestly.
No. What do you watch?
Like, I watch a lot of The Office right now.
Okay.
My girlfriend and I watch, like, every night we'll, like, put on some new show or something like that. So it's like...
Okay.
But honestly, like, a lot of my time is spent, like, figuring out, like, watching stuff that I can potentially use in content or writing, or, like, trying to figure out, like, my next idea.
What's the process like? Because it seems like you have a real structured schedule. You know, like you said, I've read somewhere where you said, I don't like to work after 9, I shut down at 9. You said you're a morning person, so you wake up. Like, what's an average Wednesday like? Do you go to your office and sit down and write? Or like, what do you do? Yeah,
basically I'll, like, wake up early. I'll either go, like, for a run or surf, or now I'm kind of working on the afternoon for some reason, but it's like, I don't know, that switches. And then I'll basically, I'll sit in my office if it's not filled with sewage water, and I'll either like edit if I have like footage that I'm editing, or I'll just like write. And
write anything, comedy, skits.
Usually it's working on my next video. That just like never really ends.
What's your posting schedule?
I mean, like, it was every week on like Friday, and now it's like every 2 weeks pretty much.
And the podcast is religious though, right?
Yeah, that's every Friday.
Then you don't ever miss that.
No, I don't think we've ever missed it a week, actually.
Has it shifted? Is that the priority now?
No, it's just like one of the priorities.
What's the other priorities? YouTube videos?
YouTube, working on, like, you know, me and Noel came out with a mixtape in December.
Okay.
And which has like over 10 million streams now, which is crazy. The whole thing. So let me ask you this
about the streaming world.
Yeah.
What does 10 million streams mean? I mean, does that make you money? I mean, do you have to
it
have 100
definitely-
million
people-
streams?
People love to say streaming makes no money.
Yeah.
We definitely have made like a good chunk of money on our music.
Okay.
Yeah, like enough to like pay our producers nicely.
Sure.
And have a little bit left over for ourselves to buy new recording equipment and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's definitely not like it's not like totally
People bag on it a lot. Spotify,
Yeah.
they're screwing the artist, no one's getting paid.
Yeah, no, we like made a decent, like good enough for us to like want to work on more music and realize that can be profitable.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did a project in December. So now we're like figuring out when our next project, like when we're gonna work on our next project, and then like working on live stuff too at the same time. Because like we want to write a new show,
A new show for what? YouTube?
a new
or-
live show,
Oh, okay.
so that we can start using like next year.
Okay.
We're going back on tour in August. We're doing
Plug it. Where can you get tickets?
We're doing Canada in August. When is this going live?
2 weeks.
Okay, yeah. So tinymeattour.com if you're in Canada or Des Moines or Fargo.
What kind of tour is that?
It's called the Canada, Des Moines, and Fargo tour. So we'll be there in August, and
Who
then
booked this? Is it a
our
Canadian
agents,
or what?
our agents, yeah.
Okay.
Because like I think it's like isn't Fargo close to the border?
Yeah,
In
yeah,
Des
it's right
Moines?
there. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like a good like wall, like in between. We're just like dipping into the States.
Okay, gotcha. And then right back to Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Talk about hip hop real quick, because I listened and I've got notes here because I forgot the tracks. This is another skill you have, like music producer. Cuttlebug
I mean,
is a
I'm
silly
not that
song,
good, but
the
yeah.
production was on point, and I really like, and we'll insert this here, and I really like Frame's freestyle, where he took one of your beats and then rhymed over, which
Okay.
was a great kind of collab.
Yeah.
How the hell did you get, with all this other going on, when did you get started in hip hop production? It just
Well, I mean,
seems so
like
odd.
I don't know if you, so we, like Noel and I I was making fun of Jake Paul's song in a video like 2 years ago now.
Okay.
And it was the song, what the fuck? You know, his like iconic song.
Is that where he's like on the Lamborghini in the video and stuff?
Oh, how can I not remember this right now? Oh, It's Everyday, Bro. That's what it was.
Okay, of
Jesus,
course.
What a brain fart. So I was like making fun of that song in the video, and I was like, I think I could make a better song than this. It was kind of like a challenge. And so I like downloaded FL Studio and made this awful beat. And I had Noel come over, because Noel used to rap for real.
Okay.
And so I brought him over and I was like, just rap over this. And he was like, no, I can't do it. And I was like, just do it, man. And so we made this like really stupid song. And it wasn't better than It's Everyday, Bro. But it was like the very first like piece of, like even though it was the shittiest beat ever, it was like the very first beat that I like made. And I was
Okay.
like, this is like really cool. Like I've always wanted to create music from scratch before. And just always was like, I would download Ableton in college and then try to conquer the learning curve and
That's
just be
hard.
like, this is so intimidating. Like so many buttons, and I have
Where do I
no idea
start?
what's going on. I have no music theory knowledge whatsoever. I played drums, that's it. So I have like a little bit of rhythm. So I would just delete it. And it was the very first time that I kind of conquered that first little like, oh, I made something like at least a little bit listenable. And that like really made me download Ableton and get back into like finding samples. And like I watched a ton of YouTube tutorials on how to make beats and how to write music and stuff like that. And so it just like has been something I've been doing in the background for a while, and like something I just like, and then working with our producers on our first like our first EP, working with Diamond Pistols on that, and then working with him again on this newest one, and our buddy Spock, who is like a really good like dubstep producer.
Did they make all the
Like
beats
watching
on that?
them, and watching them like work, it's
Like
just been,
real
like,
professionals.
Yeah, that's how you learn. Like is sitting with someone and watching them click around and like watching their process. So that plus watching YouTube tutorials like really made me realize that this is just like anything else. Like I can learn this. I just like got to put time into it.
That engineering mind, I'm gonna figure
Yeah, exactly.
this
It's like
out.
it's like core like music theory and stuff like that is all just
It's very math based.
yeah. It's just like formulas. And like just because I don't know how to play a piano doesn't mean you can't like lay chords down, as long as you know what you're doing and it sounds good.
What kind of equipment? I mean, this may be boring to some people. It's interesting to me. Like,
Yeah.
are you using samplers? Are you using keyboards? Like, what do you use physically to come up with beats?
I mean, like a lot of it is just like finding. It's like sounds. It's like
Samples.
samples. Yeah, a lot of it is samples, and then just like figuring or like finding the right sounds with like plugins like Omnisphere and stuff like that, which is just like synthesizers that come with like a bunch of presets.
Okay.
So like thousands and thousands of presets. It's just like clicking down, finding a cool sound. writing a little melody and then putting some drums behind it, basically. I mean, I'm not the best at it yet, but like...
No, your production, I listened to the SoundCloud stuff, and we'll put it up here. I was really impressed. I mean, it wasn't a douchey YouTube song. No offense to Jake Paul, but every YouTuber has a song, and 99% of them are fucking awful. But this was like real production, and it sounded like it could be a SoundCloud rapper's beats or something. I was like really impressed.
You, I appreciate it. I'm getting a little bit better at making beats. I gotta keep just staying. You just gotta consistently keep doing it. That's like basically the only way you get better at it.
Who do you look up to? Like, who are some of the producers that are your guys that you go, man, you know?
I mean, like all like the
normal
I've
ones?
spent hours and hours watching all the internet money guys produce, and then people like my buddy Aries and Ramzoid, who are both like started out as YouTube producers and then now have their own like artist projects that are doing really good. People like that really inspire me because it's like you see the process and you see how good they are and you're learning right from them.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
you know Scott Storch?
Yeah, of course.
I follow him on Instagram, and he's smoking weed 24/7. But to watch him come up with a beat is like incredible. Or to watch him play on piano a Dr. Dre beat that he did.
Yeah, I mean, you watch people like him and people like like Zaytoven and stuff like that produce, and they're so like they've been doing it for so long, and Zaytoven's such like a good like piano player that you're just like these guys are like if you were to watch them produce, you'd be like I never want to do this because they're so good already. It's like that's not really inspiring to me. That's a little bit like, this is not accessible because I'm not like gifted. But like, that's why I think like watching the YouTube producers or whatever work is so cool is because it's like, oh my God, like this is, it's like, this isn't that many steps from something that I could be doing right now. All I got to do is download, I could just copy what they do in one video, which I've done plenty of times and then change it, mold it, figure out my own, angle on whatever they did, and then it's my own thing. And
that's kind of where punk rock came from, because they would look up to bands like Yes and Led Zeppelin and stuff in the 70s and go, some kid in their garage go, I could never create something like this, but I could play 3 chords. And then when the Ramones did it and other people said, I can do that. I can't do what Led Zeppelin's doing, but I can figure out 3 chords. It sounds like that's kind of the same thing for you. I can't do what Zaytoven's doing, but that YouTube guy who showed me, I can download Fruity Loops. I can handle something.
It's like I might not be able to like lay down a beautiful piano melody like off the cuff, but I can struggle at like putting MIDI notes in for a while and come up with something like sorta decent. So I mean, it's cool. I mean, I'm just gonna keep doing it, and music is something that like is definitely like crazy fulfilling. Like coming out with something and having people actually listen to it, it's like an amazing feeling.
Is it the high you get off when you get off stage for stand-up?
And it's like when you post a new video.
Same thing.
Yeah, and reading the comments and stuff like that, it's kind of the same sort of rush.
Is that kind of what fuels you somewhat to get that? Like for me, posting days, I'm not big or anything, but if I get 300,000 views on a video, for me that's huge. It's like, yes. Like it's that feeling, or when you get a bunch of good comments. It is kind of a rush. Is that part of what fuels you? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I feel like that kind of fuels all YouTubers. It's also kind of like the demise of a lot of YouTubers too.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's like, it's a weird sort of like dopamine cycle where you post and you get this crazy rush, and then all of a sudden you feel relaxed for like 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden you're worried about, okay, what's the next post? And it's just like this awful like cycle of like trying to maintain what you've built. You know what I mean? Whereas I feel like in more traditional industries, it's like you can spend time writing something for a while and not have to worry about like, fading away or like whatever, you know? You can write something and work on it for a while, and you can come, these are people that have...
If you write a book.
Exactly.
You've got 2 years, 3 years, you could kind of craft it.
Which I think is the same with YouTube too. Like if I spent like a year working on a new video or whatever, I feel like some people would watch it, but like you have this fear of like, I need to keep doing it. Like
And plus, there's something like Howard Stern always says, like every entertainer has a giant hole in their soul they're trying to constantly fill. And it's kind of like the same thing. If you waited a year, would you be feeding the beast enough?
Exactly.
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like with YouTubers, no, that's the thing. It's because we're like built into this. Exactly. We're like programmed now to expect like this dopamine rush every week. And it's just like a little bit not sustainable. I think that's where the YouTube burnout comes from, which I don't know if you've heard that phrase.
Oh yeah. I interviewed Alicia Marie. She was the first person I heard that actually talked about that. And when I talked to her about it, it was as an outsider, as a normal person watching this, and that's kind of the view I take of you guys, she was telling me her schedule, and it was ridiculous. I think she'd post on Wednesday or something, so she would shoot Friday, or maybe she would post like Monday. So she would shoot Friday, edit all day Saturday, Sunday, post Monday, be exhausted, take Tuesday off, Wednesday have to start thinking about ideas again, buying props, getting people to collab with, and there's no days off. And it just goes on and on and on.
I mean, it's kind of like just having a normal job.
I guess so, right?
Like, it's like these people that have never had a normal job complain about their crazy schedule, and it's like, but like, you think about like most people like out of college and stuff like that are putting in way more than 40 hours a week doing whatever they're doing. Yeah. So it's like just having a normal job, honestly, but it is like this fear of like having what you've built and what you've put so much work into for some reason going away. You know, it's like, I just feel like there's not a lot of like confirmed like job security.
There's not, and think about
and so it's kind of like this like nagging thing where you're like, God, I gotta keep going, and I gotta go even harder than I did like last month. Otherwise, like, this is all just gonna go away.
But you do, because think of like big YouTubers 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Where are they at now?
Yeah.
Fewer around. Shane Dawson and those guys are still around, right? You're still around, but a lot of them are gone and parking cars in Venice somewhere.
I mean, or they're, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's a really fragile thing, because it's also like this really does like affect mental health and stuff like that. Like the YouTube burnout is just because people get like legitimately depressed and like anxious. And I know in the past 2 years, I'm the most anxious I've ever been. I didn't even know what anxiety was.
No way.
Never had it in my entire life. Like never had, like was always like a pretty just like optimistic person. When things didn't work out, I was like, oh, they'll work out eventually, whatever. And then like in the past 2 years, it's switched where it's like I've started like having panic attacks and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's like it's weird. And I think it's just from this like kind of, I mean, it's manageable now. It's learning how to like manage it, right? It's learning how to like tell yourself that it's fine and make sure you like actually make time for relaxing and stuff like that.
Like I've had I can think of two legit panic attacks. And it was so scary. If you never had a panic attack, I remember I was going for a run and I got done, normal run, I had, my phone on, listening to music, get in my car when I'm done. I'm driving home, I was running in a park and I get to a light making a left turn and it was like I was having a heart attack. I'm like freaking out and I didn't even know if I could make it to the light turn green, like to pull over. Like, because I couldn't pull over as I'm making a left. Sweating, freaking out. Like, is that the same experience you had?
Yeah, it was exactly. I mean, I've talked about this before. But yeah, like it was, I've only ever had now one real one, and then like a few like after shocks or whatever.
Sure, like an earthquake.
Yeah, exactly. But the first one was, it felt exactly like that. I just didn't know what was happening. I'm like, I'm definitely dying. Like I've never felt something this bad in my entire life.
What were you doing?
Definitely dying. I was just on my way to, I had woken up, I was a little bit hungover because I'd gone out the night before, so I didn't get much sleep. And then I was on my way, it was like a Saturday, and I was Ubering to do this like brand deal. And so it was like it was at Six Flags. So it was like an hour and a half Uber. And we're on the 405 and we're in this bumpy Uber. And all of a sudden I just like, I got scared for some reason. And then the fear just like started snowballing. And then it was like this awful feeling that I've just never had, where I was like there was nothing I could do to like get comfortable. Like nothing. I tried laying down and whatever, and this fear, or like, it wasn't even fear, it was just like this awful feeling. Started sweating, the whole thing, and I was like, I'm dying. I have to be dying. Like this has to be the feeling that like comes with death, because I don't know what else it is.
What was the Uber driver doing? Did he see you were going through something?
Yeah, because I'm with my girlfriend, and I'm like, I think we got to go to the hospital. And he was like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not. And my girlfriend's like, you're okay. I'm like, I'm not okay. I'm dying. And so I was like, can you just go to the next hospital? And he's like, yeah, I don't know where there's a hospital. And my girlfriend, I was like, just look it up. And so my girlfriend's looking up hospitals, and we get him to drop us off at one. And then we're like, all right, thanks, bye. And so he what was a 90-minute Uber turned into like a 15-minute Uber.
That's wild. Do you have any, I mean, we're almost out of time, but do you have any advice for, I'm sure a lot of your fans kind of go through the same thing. Like, what have you done to kind of not conquer it, but manage it, like you said?
Anxiety?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like slowing down a little bit, I think. Like just trying to slow down, find things that you like working on, that you can like heads down work on, not worry about like what other people are thinking. And like, I'm sure meditation and stuff like that helps too. I haven't really added time for meditation during my day, but
It's hard.
yeah. It's honestly like, I don't know, I haven't quite figured it out. Like, I feel like it's just kind of faded from the last time, but maybe I'm just like, maybe now I'm getting the upswing of another panic attack. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't really, like, it feels like I'm getting better at managing it, but maybe I'm not. You know what I mean? It's just like this weird thing that just is kind of new to me.
We'll see how the Uber goes on the way home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm sweating right now.
Well, thank you so much, man. You said it all.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you doing this, too.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks
Interesting
for having me.
conversation.
Yeah.
I saw some awkward interviews you've done on YouTube in the past. Hopefully this was better than that.
Yeah, no, this one was good.
No, I appreciate it. What else are you promoting? You got some merch, too?
Yeah, you can get my merch,
Where?
shopcodyko.com.
Okay.
My
Tour coming up?
podcast. Yeah, tour tickets, tinymeattour.com. Tiny Meat Gang is the podcast, so yeah, check it out.
All right. Cool. Thanks, guys. And if you enjoy my interviews, there's incredible sponsorship opportunities for my YouTube videos. They average 70,000 views per video, my demos 18 to 24, and I'm incredible at promoting products in a natural, authentic way. So if you're interested, please email me at tom@tomward.com. Thanks, guys.